general fund? Yeah, the old stuff.
Back to you.
Well, I would, thank you for your time, I would like to request that you do approve our budget. We would like to propose that we suspend the .7 mil, our 1986 levy, for a period of 6 months. That would come at a cost savings of approximately $440,000 to that taxpayer in Geauga County.
We either do it for a year or
We could roll it back.
can't do it for 6 months.
I think we could do it for a year, but we could
no,
reduce
year.
it to that.
You can do it for a year.
He wanted to do 6 months. We can't do a tax billing for 6 months because some people pay their taxes at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
We could roll it back to half of that millage, which would be in effect the same thing. Or we could just suspend it for 1 year.
So what happens if they need the money in October of 2014? When can we do tax anticipation?
Well, we don't send our tax abstract down to the state until, well, it is October, isn't it?
Yeah.
We send it down?
Okay, September. So what would happen? What would be the time?
He probably wouldn't get any of that money the rest of the year.
As long as we got his request prior to sending the tax abstract down to Columbus in October, we just wouldn't send the resolution down to the state, and it would collect it for million.
Okay. I guess I think their concern is if they want to start collecting again, and I don't know the answer to this, what's the timing?
They would have to wait a full year.
So, what's the reason why you only want to do half?
Well,
I mean, it's half.
once again, I understand some of the points that were made by the Budget Commission last year with our carryover, how this may or may not have been handled in the past with past boards and executive directors and things of that nature. But given the position with an entirely new Board of Park Commissioners, we are going into a strategic planning process. The park currently only has an interim director in me. It would be nice to get an executive director on board. It would be nice if we're putting forward some effort if you could give us some time to further evaluate. I understand the issue of carryover. I understand that there's quite a bit projected for the end of the year 2015, but we're at least offering something. So in the interim, because quite frankly, I work for the Board of Park Commissioners, and I would have to go back to them and revisit the 1 year issue. So, and we're approaching September 1st.
It won't happen. Today's your meeting.
What day is it? It's
Saturday.
Holiday.
Oh, Saturday.
Holiday. That's Labor Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Nobody's going to work it.
The construction fund is not mill-based.
No, it's from
Contribution.
transfers from the general fund.
Okay,
That's how it's funded.
So we really should take those amounts, merge them back into the general fund for the purposes of evaluating what the true cash, estimated cash ending balance is, right? So that means you've got, with this new estimate, $8.1 million over a budget of, anticipated expense budget of 7.2. That's only about 11 or 12%. That is doable. However, the way this is produced, with your construction fund, you have anticipated expenditures of $875,000. You have an estimated ending balance of $3 million. That's 348% more than you anticipate spending. Typically with the county, all the other entities that we look, if you get close to 100%, you start to say, be careful, that's not your money, it's the taxpayer's money. But if we take this entire fund and move it back into the general fund, we can make the argument, or you can make the argument, that the cash balance is not excessive. But because this has been the process for years, this is what has my attention. $3 million in taxpayers' money with no plan as to spending it other than about 900 grand. That has my attention.
And I don't disagree with that, so.
So how, they've provided us with a budget where they're willing to reduce the millage for 6 months. We know we can't do that.
But we can reduce the collection rate in half.
I would have to rework paperwork.
Yeah. But we can reduce
So it's the equivalent
the
of
half.
that.
Which would be $440,000.
Right.
Non-collection on the 1986 levy would be $880,000 less in the general fund, so that instead of having a carryover balance of $5.9 million, they would have a carryover balance of $5.1 million.
440,000 collection versus
Correct. And the point I'm simply trying to make is I can't speak to why, you know, what past administrators or executive directors came here with in the past, but this is what I'm coming with from my board. I work for them, and there's little I can agree to outside of that. So, is there a way? Get on a bad phone.
Can I ask a question?
Please identify yourself.
My name is Ed Buckles. I'm from Troy Township. And Mr. OROS has indicated that this budget has been approved by the board, department board. I'm not clear at what meeting that was approved. What meeting was that approved at?
You're not asking the board.
I'm asking Joe. Yes. What meeting was that approved?
I don't recall. I'll have to let you know.
Because the issue of the rollback that you say that you're not, cannot speak for, has never been approved by the board, to my knowledge.
It's
Not
been,
at an open meeting.
that's correct.
And therefore, I would ask the board of commissioners, if the budget has not been properly approved by the park board, how can you act on a budget that has not been properly presented to you?
They can pass a resolution at a board meeting.
They have not done so at this point.
Correct.
Where's Michelle?
She's at the doctor's today.
It's your testimony. This is a bona fide approved budget by the park commissioners.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. So Bev, you prepared this based upon a suspension, full year suspension of the levy, correct?
Just a 1 year.
A 1 year? I'd be inclined just to adopt this.
Yes. Is it a motion?
Yes. So moved.
William McCollum, Newberry.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hitchcock, I asked you a week or so ago about your authority to suspend this levy. It's my understanding that the Geauga Park District is a jurisdiction of Columbus, the state government of Columbus, and it's not within the jurisdiction of Geauga County. So I wonder, do you still feel that you have authority over the state agency?
I'll let our prosecutor respond.
It's a political subdivision within this county, and we are the budget commission authority for the park district. So it is under our authority.
We have a motion on the floor.
Of a suspension of the levy.
Well, it would be to approve
This budget.
this tax budget, which reflects the suspension of the 1986.
And that's not a budget, that's not a budget that the board has approved. That was just a hypothetical, this is what.
Well, I know, I guess the issue is we don't have a budget that's approved, right?
Mhm. We don't have a resolution and we don't have a budget.
But we do have the authority.
I mean, I feel bad for you, John. I mean, I wish.
Plus, I love all the support you got.
I mean, I wish a board member was here, or Michelle was here. I mean, that would, you know. So I understand you're communicating to us that, you know, the board would like a 6-month suspension of the 86 levy. That's problematic for tax collection purposes. You know, so the options would be either we suspend it a full year, or we cut the 0.7 mils in half and suspend the half of the 0.7 mils over a 12-month period, it sounds like. But we still don't, you know, and again, I know you're just a messenger, but we still don't have a budget, or we don't have a revised budget or resolution from the board. So, you know, our options would be to approve the budget previously submitted, or cut the mills in half, or just approve this.
You made a motion
I made a motion to approve
this amended budget.
To approve a budget that reflects the suspension of the 86.7 mils levy, suspend collection for 2015. So that would be.
Which is 880,000 less. That is that what you gave us?
Yes.
Versus the 440 that you were suggesting.
But the board can always come back at any time and ask to stay,
Well, we're suggesting it's suspended for a year.
Right.
At 180.
Right. To put it back on the tax collection, I don't believe you can at the half. I believe it's good for a year. We have several thousand taxpayers that pay it all in January. And all of those monies are distributed regardless of the entity's fiscal expenditures. It's just the way government works. It doesn't always make sense. I'll second Jim's motion for a 1-year suspension.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
My question still remains, how can you approve a budget that was not properly passed by the park board?
Well, we have a budget that was approved by the park board.
No, I do not believe the budget approved by the park board ever reflected the rollback of the 86 million.
But that's the, I mean, we certify the revenues, so we're just not certifying that revenue. We're not changing their budget. We're just changing the revenue that's there.
John Karlovic from the Maple Leaf. So is the Budget Commission taking this action unilaterally versus the Park District requesting it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we can't do their request.
Because right.
Not feasible to do their request.
So in that respect, the fact that there hasn't been anything that the Park District Board has met and approved or whatever is irrelevant, because the Budget Commission has the authority on its own, irrespective of whether the Park Board did anything, to suspend the levy for a year.
Yeah, I mean, John's telling us that they want to roll back, you know, what the Park Board wants to roll back what they're collecting. You know, again, I think that's a step in the right direction. I think the disconnect is that the Park Board thought that they could do it for a 6-month period. That's not really doable with tax collections. So,
But that hasn't been done in an open meeting.
I'm not aware of.
Well, we haven't gotten notice of any meeting like that.
And again, we don't keep track of what the Park Board's doing, other than, you know, what they're submitting to us budget-wise. So they've submitted a budget. We're acting on that budget. We're just not certifying revenue for that levy.